Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another hour of The Assist. I'm your host, Noah Harrington. To my right, I have Jay, and to his right, we have Coach G. Fellas, how are y'all doing?
Doing good, feeling great.
We live.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Oh, thank y'all. Thank y'all for asking.
I never really asked you, how you doing?
Oh yeah, I'm doing
You
great.
might be feeling
great.
some type of way today. How you feel?
I'm doing great because we witnessed history on, what was it?
Just yesterday.
The 8th.
The 8th.
Oh,
January
the 8th. Excuse me, on the 8th.
Should we jump right into it?
Right into it. Let's
Okay.
go.
Well, let's tell them what we got on the board today. Like we said, we're gonna jump right into this history. We got some spiciness around the NBA. A lot of spiciness. We got some trade rumors. We got some contract rumors, and then we got some new coaches. Football wise.
Okay.
So we got a jam-packed show today. So first things first, we're jumping into it. James Harden and Trae Young, probably the greatest worst game ever.
Greatest worst game.
Greatest worst game.
You're gonna cloud it with it. You're gonna take that history and cloud it with
You
that.
know what's so great about James Harden is that he can
definitely
have
say
a terrible game, and only make 9 shots and have 41 points and have a triple-double. And then Trae Young didn't have a stellar game on the other side. Not as bad of a game, but what did he have, 42?
41, I believe. 41. I want to believe it was 41. I want to say it's 41.
I want to say James had 41 and Trae had 42. Maybe vice versa. I could be wrong.
That's what I think it was.
Either way, you can't deny 40 points.
Yeah, either way, it was an awesome game. What I will say is the Rockets, man, I'm a Rockets fan, but the Rockets kind of let me down a little bit that game just for the simple fact that the first half we was literally blowing them out. It was pretty much a 20-point lead almost, I want to say.
First quarter, it was 45-29.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was we almost had a 20-point lead on them at one point, and for them to let them come back and get into the ball game and almost have a shot at winning, the Rockets have always been known to get that high lead and then just let it go every time. I don't know why they do that.
It's a lot of teams that fell victim to that type of play due to their style. They get a little lax in what they're doing, a little discomplaced, and kind of fumble the ball.
And I don't want to knock the Hawks because Trae Young in that second half, I'd say probably around like the end of the second quarter, he got into a bag and he was not letting up.
He had 42.
See, that's why you continue to play the whole 48 minutes. You don't stop playing. I mean, you're gonna have waves. You're gonna have moments where you're gonna be up and your team's gonna make runs. But it's 4 quarters, fellas. You got to play the whole time, or stuff like this can happen. I mean, and I get what you're saying. To your point, the best worst game. I just wouldn't cloud it with that because it's been other games.
Oh yeah. And it was a battle. It was a battle to the end, except in the beginning.
Well, I say best worst game for the Rockets just for the simple fact that you let it turn into a battle when y'all had that big of a lead at the beginning.
It was 122-115. They squeaked by with a 7-point win. Trae Young did have 42, 10 assists and 13 rebounds. So Trae was in there. Trae had
a little bit better game.
There was a lot of rebounds in this game.
Yeah,
and what I will say, a lot of Trae Young points came from him driving. He tore the paint up.
Listen to this.
He did work.
He did work.
PJ Tucker, 17 rebounds. Clint Capella, 22 rebounds. He had a 20 game. He had 22 points and 22 rebounds.
That's excellent for Capella.
And then James Harden with 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 41 points.
And just saying, a lot of those points from Capella came from lobs from James Harden.
And then on the other side, you got John Collins with 14 rebounds, Trae Young, like we said, with 13, and then Alex Len with 10. So it was just a rebounding game.
I mean, are they just bricking shots?
Houston led the rebound race by only 5 rebounds. They both had the same amount of offensive rebounds. Too.
That's
both
a lot
had
of
16.
Rebounds. I mean, but nonetheless, you got to secure the ball for your team. But I'd much rather see some of them. I mean, 20 rebounds, that's great. But you almost had 20 rebounds from another player also.
This is where I think the difference
was. That's a whole lot of missed shots.
17 to 22, that's almost 40 from 2 players.
That's a whole lot of missed shots.
Well, I mean, James Harden did miss a lot of shots.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you said 17 to 22 on the other side.
Yeah, that's
yeah. Trae missed a lot of shots too. I think that's why there were so many rebounds in this game because everybody was putting up duds.
Yeah.
But they were just putting up a lot of them.
Usually it's going to be like a 15-5 spread, 15 defensively, 5 on the offensive. That's a good game.
You know where James won this game was, if shots not dropping, you know where he's going to get his 40 from. And that's the free throw line. Houston went 41 times. They made 31 of them. Whereas Atlanta only went 27 times. So they were trying to get to the line. You know James. I don't have James. He
always in his bag.
Harden made some big time threes too, though.
I know he for sure made 9 total field goals, which is
out of those, I would probably say at least 7 of them was threes.
9 for 34. That was his stat line.
Damn.
7 of those had to be 3-pointers for sure, if not all.
I know he made a lot of free throws. I know that. I wish I had his
shots.
Yep. Did we announce the history behind why this is a historic game? This is the first game in NBA history where 2 players had 40-point triple doubles. 2 opposing players, I should say. I'm sure that's the first players, period. 2 people to have a 40-point triple double in the same game.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's crazy insane. Big shout out to James Harden and Trae Young. I guess just keep shooting.
That's one of them games that, and you ultimately got 2 players put up over 40 points. That's one of them offensive games that you still would like to see, even though it might hurt your eyes on some of it because the rebounding is kind of high too.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to just sit there and watch.
It's not a low-scoring game. It's one of them electric games. You running up and down the court. It's not a whole lot of set offense, slowing the ball down, moving the ball around.
The game was always interesting. I will say that. At the beginning, I want to say James Harden had like 20
they went off in the first quarter. They had a good. They both had a really good first quarter.
The game started off amazing. It was crazy, especially if you was a Rockets fan. You loved that game.
Another nail biter that happened.
The way they ended it was just real. Just
Another nail biter on the 8th was the Nuggets and Mavericks. The Nuggets barely squeaked by with a 1-point win, and it was a great defensive play by Mason Plumlee. Sorry, Mason Plumlee on defense. Ruining Dallas' last shot.
Are we gonna call that a great defensive player? Or are we gonna say it seemed like he got nervous.
You think he choked?
It was I feel like it was both sides of it, but he choked because of the defense. So I think nonetheless you got to give Mason because Mason had first pass in that situation. Luka's double teamed. He finds the right pass. Mason gets there, and then the help comes. I forgot who didn't take the shot, but he had a shot. He had a shot to take, and he didn't take.
He was scared to. Honestly, I don't think it was the defense because if you pay attention to that last play, he pump fakes,
goes
for the pump fake. He decides to
and
pass
Mason
him
comes
up,
and helps,
and then he decides to throws it out instead of just going for the float or anything.
I don't even think they put a shot up.
I mean.
They did it.
They did it. He passed it out. He tried to pass it out, and the ball just went flying to Timbuktu. But I felt like he should have took the shot. But at the same time, it was a dude coming to you, but he wasn't in your face pressuring you.
He was coming with the help.
You know what I mean? But he wasn't pressuring you, and then I think he just choked. You know what I mean?
But the big thing was this. This is the big thing. Before you say what you were going to say. Mike Murray, Nuggets head coach, didn't have Jokic or Jamal Murray on the floor in this last
defensive stand.
Yes. So I thought that was big, and they didn't mind not being on the floor. I think that was the other big thing. Okay, let me see. This is our defensive lineup. This is what works. It kills our offense in practice, so this is what we're throwing in. Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. It could have been something like that.
I feel like it's one of those things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But when your star is like that, when your stars, because these are their 2 stars, Jamal Murray and Jokic. Jokic is your 1, Murray's your 2.
So them to decide to sit back and let somebody else take the lead role, I know what you mean.
He comes in with the defensive stop.
At that point.
And then, I think it was the play before, he had hit the shot to put him up.
not even necessarily that. You see this all the time. It just played out in favor of Denver. In this one, you got to see it actually finish. You played a chess game. When you had the balls, you shooting free throws, you sub your defensive guys in to get rebounds. Make sure you secure that ball. When you get down and get opportunity, you know you're gonna get the ball. You put in your offensive guys. Make sure you get that shot that you're looking for. Get the best opportunity. You know, so you see guys go big, little all the time. So. In that last moment, your last final deep, like you were saying, this breaks our offense, this disturbs our offense in practice. Let's put it out there and see if we
I'd put
can
it against any other team in the league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I would do. That would be my whole total approach. We'd secure the ball. I'm sure they had a few timeouts left to play with. Speaking of the scenario, they may have ran them all out, but by the same token, they are up. So, yeah, you don't need your offensive, your best offensive players if they're a B caliber defensive player, but you have a dog on the bench who is good in these type of situations.
Like a Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee is going to play his heart out.
To add to your point,
94 feet.
What you're saying, you think it was the offense having a little mental collapse. I'm a beg to differ. I'm going to point out the fact that I think it was defense simply because Luka thrives in situations where he gets a big caught out on the island.
No. Luka was double teamed, so they shut Luka down. He had to get rid of it. Well, I won't say they shut Luka down because Luka had 27 in this game, and Jokic had 33. So it was a great game. But Jokic in that last play, they shut him down.
When dude had the ball,
it was nothing Luka could really do.
Luka couldn't get the ball. I don't think he was trying to pass it to Luka. He was actually trying to pass it to someone else.
Yeah,
and I think the pass just went off. But I mean, the defense did disrupt him, but I don't think that was the main reason.
I think it was a lot of contributing factors. I think everybody in that building thought Luka was taking that shot regardless.
Yeah.
If this double team's coming or not, Luka's taking this shot.
Well, I knew Luka wasn't. He didn't have enough time. The clock was running out.
We talked about games getting spicy. None other than the spiciest. Jimmy Buckets versus T.J. Warren, ladies and gentlemen.
Who you got? Hands on.
I know our Houston sports experts taking Jimmy Butler. I'm going with Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy.
I don't think that's any type.
I do feel
that's
like
unanimous.
they're both mean. They both some dogs, but Jimmy I think is the bigger dog in that dog pound.
He marked the next game in March, and he said, "I hope you're ready."
Dude, this Warren dude,
we just talked about him on the last episode.
Exactly.
At 36.
And so check this. I went and looked at a couple of his highlights. The dude can ball. This dude really can play. But this is what I will.
He's got 2,000. He's got 2,000 braids, but
this
the
what
year
I will
2,000
say.
braids. Sorry.
I don't think that his game, like him against Jimmy, just like Jimmy said,
it's not working.
Jimmy gonna blow past him.
Oh yeah. When you break it down for stats, put them up against each other. I'm with Jimmy. If I was your head coach, I would not do that again.
Stats show that every time Jimmy and him are matched up, Jimmy is getting more buckets on him.
Ooh,
facts.
See, and I'm glad you said that because we're gonna get into that later on about a comment that was made, a spicy comment made by Stephen A. or his sources. Well, not by Stephen A., but he reported on it. So,
we're gonna we could get into it right quick. The Heat had an amazing game. Just all around great effort from everybody. Bam Adebayo with 18, Jimmy Butler 14.
That's a team.
Duncan Robinson with 17,
team that's playing like
Kendrick
a team.
Nunn with 15, Derrick Jones Jr. with 18, Dragic the Dragon with 15, Tyler Hero with 19. That's I don't even know how many people that is in double digits.
That's when your whole team is playing
is on the
together
same
as
accord.
A unit. You know what? I feel like a team like that. Not to knock their coach, but I feel like a team like that.
Oh, Eric Spoelstra might be coach of the year.
Oh yeah, but he's almost kind of like showing like pop skills.
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
Mental games.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Playing
just
chess.
Like fundamentals and just everybody play together.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our first commercial break. So we'll be back after these messages. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, back into these basketball games. We need to talk about the Pacers because the Pacers had a pretty good game. Domantas Sabonis, 27 and 14. It seems like we've talked about him a lot up here, but I mean, when you're putting up some numbers, when you're leading your team, exactly. Yeah. And they had a pretty good game all around. Aaron Holiday with 14, Jeremy Lamb with 13, Justin Holiday, my bad, with 14. There's so many holidays.
They did okay. Miami was in their bag, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to see all these players step up, especially since they main guys out right now.
And then once an ejection, speaking of him, he'll be back January 29th. Victor Oladipo, that is. And when you play a team...
That's going to spice them up a lot.
This is the thing about this game. The Heat were already up when the ejection and the spiciness started happening with T.J. Warren. And once that happens, it takes your morale kind of... It takes your morale away. You know what I mean?
They may have been up by 20. I want to say it was 70-something, 50-something. They was
tearing them
crazy.
up. And
They was in that bag.
They probably had already lost that game.
Yeah. And so frustration sets in.
Yeah. I think so.
Things, you're trying to give a good effort. Things just not falling your way. That gives a certain amount of frustration. So, I get it. I get and definitely get you standing your ground, but again, I'm riding with Jimmy on this one. The way he fouled him on that last play, it must have been some other shit going on, jostling back and forth that the camera may not. Yeah,
camera didn't pick up. Camera doesn't pick up a lot of stuff.
How did y'all feel about the kiss that he blew toward him?
Oh, I think that was.
Man,
that means I want to fight. That means I'm.
He thinks he's soft.
It means he thinks he's soft, and it's.
I think he's sweet.
Yeah, you're showing
you ain't shit.
I want the smoke. Come do something to me. That's like
you
spitting
on TV.
Somebody.
We really not gonna battle it out. I mean, I knock you out if you rush me. But
Jimmy, I seen the after interview.
And Jimmy was hot.
And he said he act like he want to fight, but he ain't going. He don't want to fight me. I'll beat him up and all this.
Yeah.
And
these coaches don't need to put him on me ever again. Yeah. He's terrible. He's trash. This that and the third. Giving it to him. He said he's not in the same league as me. And Scott Van Pelt was like, "Well, he is, but I get what you mean. He is in the NBA, but you're right. He's not on the same tier as you." I wrote this on the board. And I'm sure y'all probably looked at it like, I said the Warriors and Bucks both win. They played the 8th, 107-98. And I said the Warriors won because Draymond played, okay? And you lose to the best team in the NBA by 9 points. After these televised and public struggles that you're going through. Steve Kerr did get kicked out of the game and fined for his
exploded.
Yeah, he went. The lid got off the pot on that one.
It's like once he knew he got ejected, he was
I'm giving it all.
Yeah. No holding back.
Milwaukee did win, of course. Giannis put up 30, so I mean. It's kind of hard to beat that 30 and 13.
I still look at that Warriors still got to be. I mean, obviously, I see what you're saying about they had. I guess you did get blown away.
You expected them to be this game to be a 40-point dub.
My whole thing is we talk about this all the time. When you like the lowest team on the totem pole and you going against one of the best teams in the game, you always gonna play super hard against those teams.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure Milwaukee was
their best.
I'm sure Milwaukee was.
You're gonna catch everybody's best, no matter what anybody's record is looking like. You're going to catch that team's best,
and they were probably just going through the motions.
And by the same token, you cannot sit there and do exactly what you said, go through the motions, because there'll be teams that'll come up and bite you in the ass. And enough of that happens, it'll start disturbing you where you land in your seat.
Because I love the Bucks' the little wrestling stuff in the tunnel before the game starts and everything. But okay, you can do that and everything.
Roll an ankle.
Yeah, not even that. I don't want to get to that. Knock on wood. I'm talking, okay, but now you start losing games. So now the the Cobra isn't too funny anymore. Now the Cobra's kind of
Well,
stopped.
to be honest with
you,
you, we seen it before when like Westbrook used to go crazy in OKC and do his little dances before.
Yeah.
Shit, LeBron and his whole team, they started it. I mean, they used to get the whole team.
Oh yeah, everybody has a
involved with
high
everything.
five, everything, handshakes,
Oh,
everything.
I mean, they're having fun. I get it.
Yeah.
And when you're taking care of business like they are the number one team in the league. They had the best record. They've beaten the projected champion. Or let me say that again. They've beaten the projected champs of this season with
Champion,
the Lakers.
yeah.
You know, the Lakers. I mean, nobody's won it yet, but they feel like Lakers going to run the table, and they've beaten them. So just going to play some more games about it. I mean,
We
you
think the
can't sit
Lakers
up there.
gonna do it, but at the same time, you never know when the playoffs, playoffs come on and go crazy. You never know.
Speaking of, we'll go crazy. This is going to be a crazy game. Russell Westbrook returning to OKC, and
With
then
his no regret shirt on.
and then Chris Paul returning to Houston. Well, playing Houston. They're in OKC. I want to say. So
There'll be no love lost.
what's y'all's projected stat line from Russ tonight?
I'll tell you what.
I can tell you Russ gonna go in. I don't know.
He's going in aggressive.
I can
He's
tell you
gonna go in
that.
aggressive.
He's gonna go in with his mindset. I gotta kill these guys.
He's putting up 30 shots.
However, I'm gonna say OKC is playing better ball than what I thought OKC would be playing.
Oh, yeah.
The way they're composed.
Oh, yeah.
The way the team is.
I think Chris
put
Paul
together.
being over there really helps.
They've been playing really good, but do
They've
I
been
think
playing-
OKC gonna beat the Rockets?
Oh, no. I don't think so either, but I think they
the
could.
game is going
they
to
could,
be. I
but-
think if Russ.
If it's a bet in Vegas, I bet it's leaning more toward the Rockets than OKC.
Yeah, I would
for
say
sure.
so.
I say that, but I'm telling you, I can see this happening. Russ is going to go in. He's going to be aggressive, almost too aggressive, and it's going to cost him.
Well, I mean, that
No, it's
it
not.
usually always costs him.
No, it's not.
Costs him
I get
production wise.
where you- I get
I'll
where
say
you-
that
how you
because they
feel
still
about
win.
that.
They still win, but he loses that efficiency. That's what I'll say. That's where it hurts him. Being so aggressive hurts him efficiency wise. Because when you're going in all those times and you're not finishing, or you finish this one, you didn't finish these two. You know what I mean? That's gonna you still played a good game. You still had a triple double, but you went 30 for 9 in a James Harden type. You know what I
It may be
mean?
something in that manner.
But you can't. James Harden is aggressive. He's just
I
aggressive
just
in a
feel like
different
this
way.
game is. I mean, it could be a total blowout.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's a blowout, it'll be in Houston's favor. If it does go that way as a blowout, it's going to be in Houston's favor. I don't think that OKC has the arsenal to blow them out. However, defensively, I think if Houston's shot is not going down, the threes are not falling like they need to, I think they have enough big men and shot blockers to clog the lane to disturb the second tier option of shots that Houston puts up. Which, if you're not shooting threes, they're usually trying to hit that lob. Well, you got two big men, Noel and Adam, sitting down underneath there, who love to get involved with the physicality of the game of blocking shots because they're not offensive players.
Exactly.
They understand that I'm here for my defensive abilities.
But you can get that, like Steven Adams' last game had 24 and 17, right?
Yeah, well, if you get any
can get
points
one of
out of
those
them,
games.
if you get points out of them, to me, that's an added bonus. Because I'm
Well,
not
I
going
think
in
Steven
and-
Adams he's gonna produce for you. He's gonna give you 15.
I would give him a little bit more rope as it goes on.
He
And
gets more
and
rope than
he's
anybody else.
Yeah, and he's earned it. I will
Yeah,
say that
yeah.
he's definitely earned it with Russ being in the picture because Russ was knocking down them triple doubles. That was a lot of his dump off man.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he started. I saw it when OKC had Serge Ibaka over there, where Serge was coming in with 8 points, and then Serge started hitting averaging about 12
Let
or 14
Steven Adams
points
develop
a game.
a jumper.
Then he
That's
started
what Serge
averaging
had to
about
do.
18 points a game. You are part of the offense. You are now a part of our game plan going into the next game.
Yeah, he developed a jump shot, and it was over. Serge Ibaka
So
makes
yeah,
is a matchup
Steven Adams,
problem.
I can see. Yeah, I definitely understand that he's worked himself into that position. I'm not saying he's not going to produce any points. However, I'm not just sitting in this particular game. I'm looking at it more. Your
want this
defense
defensive
to stand out.
Yeah.
And if you give me 15 points, fuck it, I'm gonna take it.
I just lost my train of thought. Carmelo Anthony. Well, actually, it just came back to me. Thank you. Changing segments made it come back to me. Stat line for James Harden. What's y'all's prediction? James Harden and then Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, I'm gonna say he's gonna be 22.
I'm not even gonna say that.
22, 8 rebounds, 12 assists.
I'd say close. I can't give the rebounds, but I'm gonna say I'm close to around like 10 assists. I want to say like around 8 or 9. I'm gonna go with 9 assists. I'm gonna go with 9 assists and probably like 17 points.
I'll go 20 and 10, but break it down even 20
Pretty
and 10.
much, you know what I'm saying?
I'll be the even person.
Yeah,
And then James, I got
James?
40 from James.
I got 35.
35
easy.
plus.
I'm looking at about 38 from James. In a
35
effort.
and like 12.
Yeah.
I think, to me, honestly, the standout player in this game, if you get Capella, because what that'll mean to me is even though you're putting up your bigs as your defensive front, we're still able to score through your defensive front. Mm-hmm. That's crippling to a team that doesn't have that offensive
I think Clint's
power.
going to have some problems. I think him and Steven are going to battle. I think it's going to be a battle down low with both of them. Because they're both putback kings. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I can see them both giving you 20 and 20. I can see them both giving you 20. He's the shortest, or he's the youngest of 18 siblings, I want to say, and his shortest sibling is 6'5".
And
it's a girl.
In the league.
That's why.
One of. I wouldn't doubt it. And so I think I could see a 20-20 in game from both of them, honestly. But yeah, that's gonna be a battle in OKC. So back to what we were saying, Carmelo Anthony is on a tear. I think, like we were saying last episode, he had 28
heard around the world.
He hit the game winner. Right now, he's averaging 16 points. And it's crazy because I'm sure 50% of the league is not averaging 16 points.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they say? Was it the whole dilemma that Carmelo Anthony isn't better than... I'm sure some people said 60% of the league. I know we knew people who said he shouldn't be on a roster. And now look at him.
I just laugh about
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know no one that said Carmelo shouldn't be on the roster. Well, I know one guy. I take that
could
back.
think of somebody.
I know one guy, but I don't think his opinion is credible. but you know, I mean, anybody in their right mind would know that Carmelo need to be on somebody's team.
Exactly.
If you didn't pay attention to the summer workouts where Carmelo was busting a whole lot of ass during the summer workouts. And I know you get the celebs popping in every once in a while, playing in there. But don't let that throw your thought process. Don't let that lead you in the wrong direction.
One more thing about Melo. I had something else to say.
He's still a dog. He still got it in his bag. I, on record, saying he's still better than 65% of the league.
His comeback, him and Dwight Howard have the best comeback of 2019-2020, hands down.
I agree
we
with
already
that.
said that you couldn't be like great and then fall off and then...
Well, yeah, to be most improved player, I said that. But just having a great comeback year, I think, yeah. You're not going to get an award for it, but we as basketball fans know we love to see both of them producing again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It may not be the way we're accustomed to. Melo's not dropping 30, Dwight's not dropping 30 and 15, but hey, we love them seeing that they're in a great state of mind.
It's
and
good
everything.
to understand that they're understanding their role a little bit better now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're gonna jump into our commercial break right quick. When we get back, we got Kobe on the All the Smoke podcast, and then it's Kyrie coming back in a week. So here's a quick commercial break. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Assist. This is the last half hour. We got a little bit more basketball to talk about. Then we got this football to talk about. But first, Kobe Bryant was on the All the Smoke podcast on Showtime with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, Captain Jack. And it was a great episode. I watched the whole thing as soon as it came out. I was an hour late watching it, but came out. I watched the whole thing. It was amazing. I showed y'all a little clip of it. How'd y'all feel about it?
Man, that's definitely. I mean, if you haven't checked out All the Smoke, y'all need to check them boys out.
I'm gonna have to check the whole episode out.
Yeah,
they doing their thing over there.
Episode 11, I want to say it was.
Yeah, they got a couple of episodes. Go check out their catalog. But this particular episode, I'm definitely itching to go see. So,
it's like the Jay-Z interview or something. You know what I mean?
Because the history. I mean, just knowing the history of these Warriors, they battled with each other as teammates, and definitely against each other as on championship runs.
Oh yeah, I know Stack and Kobe battled. Oh yeah, and Matt and Kobe battled, and then Matt and Kobe played together,
Exactly.
and they played together because they battled so hard, and that's what Kobe talks about in the
That's
interview.
how sometimes you earn some people's respect. Get in the trench with them, show them what you're made of.
Yep.
I was about to tell them this before we came back from the commercial break, but I said I would save it for this. If you watch the whole interview, you can just see, and if you've watched past interviews that they've done, you can see the admiration that they have, especially Steven Jackson, for Kobe Bryant. It's like he's in the room with almost like their big brother. You know what I mean? You know, you love your big brother, and he's your first role model. He's like him and your dad and everything. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how they looked
Kobe
at him.
Kobe is greatness. Everybody know that. Same
But see, Stack and Kobe are the same age. So it's not like I could see Matt Barnes maybe being a little bit younger, so you look up to this guy, but y'all came in the same draft, y'all played an All-American team together, all that. And you still look at him as so great. I mean, he is and everything, but it was just really cool to see that.
I don't think all that matters. I think it's just
Real,
one of those things. Like to see
real.
that we both came into the same thing, and the way you took off and made the best of the best out of it.
I should have said
mutual
mutual
class.
I should have said mutual admiration, because you can see Kobe Bryant's telling him he should have won MVP in the All-American game, and Stack was like, "Oh, since you said it, I'm rolling with it." You know what I mean? So you can tell that there's a mutual admiration there for both of them. And Steven Jackson even said that like you were saying, that one maybe turned out to be better in the long run, which Kobe did, but also on Stack's hand, he did say the brawl hurt his All-Star runs. He probably would have been picked for a few All-Star games if the brawl hadn't happened. And I completely agree with that. Stack was a monster.
It hurt his career. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he made something through after the brawl. He made a career after the brawl, but that definitely was a
There was a lot of them that
so,
made something after that, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Who was involved in that whole melee? But
even though it happened, they still had talent nonetheless.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
So it was great. If you haven't checked it out, go watch it.
Yeah,
about an hour long.
Guys over there show nothing but love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they keep it 100 with everything that they doing. So
I love Matt Barnes. Ever since he then retired, it's like all this little episodes he been doing, his interviews and everything. Like
it's just good content.
I love how he been opening up. So
much
about
you wouldn't have guessed them two, and that's what even Kobe said in the interview. I can't believe y'all two are doing this media thing and doing it so well. Like it's not. You go back in 2006. And you say you're going to pick two people from the NBA who are going to have a top sports podcast.
You wouldn't think it'll be them two.
You don't think it's going to be them two.
These two, yeah.
You're not going to say the two people with the most technical fouls in the league or whatever. You know what I mean? Most fines, this, that, and the third. But shouts out to them, for real. Back on basketball, Kyrie Irving says he wants to play. He says he's a week away. Do we believe him?
False. I think that's a lie.
I think he may try to insert himself, but I think it may be a little early.
I think he just want to give people hope, or just make people feel like it's gonna be sooner than what they think it could be. Or
I'm hoping it's more on the clickbait end of things because I don't want.
It's been 2 months with the shoulder injury. And he's saying he's hopeful that he can return next week. So I won't say that he's saying exactly. I'm returning next week. But the reports are saying he wants to return next week, and you can.
I think that's just to give people hope. You know what I mean? Like make people
he
feel
did full contact practice, 5-on-5 practice. He's been running it. So
yeah, but that practice they're not gonna play. It's just like
exactly.
They're not gonna try to
you.
guard you tough in practice.
Yeah. Exactly. They're going to take it easy. We don't want you to get hurt.
There's going to be people testing. Everybody in the league going to try to test that shoulder. You're going to bump him. You're going to rub him. You got fouls to give. I mean, you're not going to play dirty, but you're definitely going to test the shoulder.
Said he's taking cortisone shots for his shoulder. Anybody out there knows cortisone shots, it's to help the pain. So he was taking those on Wednesday. He said it was helping. The cortisone shot was helping him play.
That means that you're still injured.
Exactly.
You're able to deal with the pain from the injury.
Exactly. But you're also, you can deal with the pain after practice. You haven't played an NBA game where, okay, my second string point guard knows my shoulder's not hurting. And this is practice, so it's not like he's going to be attacking that shoulder the whole game. But you go and play the Clippers, and you play somebody who like Patrick Beverly, who doesn't care about your shoulder. I just want to win this game. I don't care.
Your shoulder off.
I don't care what happened. And exactly, he's going to chew your shoulder off. So, I mean, I'm all for players. I mean, we're not Kyrie. If he feels good, he feels good. Come back and play, and he can shine on everybody. You know Kyrie's capabilities. But personally, I don't want him to come back. Me as a fan, I don't want him to come back and have to leave again.
Exactly.
And I know the Nets don't want that. I would hate to see
another KD situation.
Exactly. Hate to see that. Where they need you and
KD could have just stayed out and just said, forget that championship. And right now, we could have had him balling this season.
Exactly.
And maybe even possibly win another championship.
Exactly. LeBron James moved up to number 1 in the All-Star voting, past Luka and Giannis. I was surprised by that.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, I figured because I really didn't think Luka was coming out of number 1 because it's not like LeBron's putting up 40 but he's putting up a bunch of assists.
The reason why I think that's why he's the best player on the best team in the league right now.
True, and so why wasn't he already? It's not like he's done anything since voting came out.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So why wasn't he already number 1?
Exactly. I was surprised that he wasn't number 1 before.
True.
That's why
I'm saying, like, the fact that he's there now, I'm not surprised. I was surprised then.
I'm surprised now because he hasn't done much for his voting to just go up however many million votes it has.
For more than a week.
Yeah, true.
You can't just have a flash. Okay, we're going to do it today and close it today.
True. Yeah,
because you're not going to get everybody's. It takes time for these votes to come in and get tallied.
It
takes time for people to get around to voting.
The turtle beats the hare, right? In the long run, Bron's going to get the votes. People who are like, there's people out there who don't know Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it's people that know that.
They just only want to see LeBron in it. You know what I mean?
That there's still some time since they opened the polls. And, okay, so what are they going to do on the schedule? It's a couple of games in between now and the time that the polls close. Maybe somebody can influence my vote at the last minute before I turn it in.
And if you don't know who Luka Doncic is, ladies and gentlemen, you're living under a rock.
Right.
Speaking on other injury news, Klay Thompson is out indefinitely, like I'm sure everybody imagined. He's not returning this season.
Of course.
But they said Stephen Curry will be returning in March. So
I know that a fact?
It's supposed to be a fact. He's expected to return in March.
Wow.
So big shouts out to Steph Curry.
Would you want him to come back?
Good recovery.
To be honest with you, I honestly
blessed recovery.
I honestly, if Klay was to come back next year, I honestly feel like he should have just not came back, stayed out the rest of the season. I mean, it's always good
because it is March.
Some games, you know what I'm saying?
It's March, so it's close to playoffs, and all three of us here don't see the Warriors making the
it to
playoffs.
playoffs.
I think when March
However,
comes, if he's able to play, I think the option will be whether he wants to or not.
Well,
Yeah.
this is.
And I think he's smart enough to make the
Let me
decision.
throw a
But I also
different
think he wants
spin
to
on
play.
here on that because I do see where they will ask Curry to play because they're in a new facility. You got to get all
True.
this taken
You got to
care
get
of.
money. You got to get the money back.
And even though you're not making the playoffs, you know you're not getting that kind of money. Stephen Curry being on the court is going to bring more than what is being coming now. You're going to get more.
Exactly.
So that's more money, and that's not a bad financial closeout on your year.
And D'Lo, he's hurt right now. He's coming back. Draymond's back, and then Steph. You can probably make something work with that if he comes back in March and decides to play.
Try to make a little bit of money.
Make a little push and make
I don't know.
make some
D'Lo
money.
might be gone.
He might be going to the trade deadline.
It's possible
You're right.
he might be
He
gone.
could possibly be gone for sure.
As far
Great
as making
segue.
the push, I don't see no
Oh, yeah.
push of that. I wouldn't even be concerned as making a push. I try to keep everybody that we have here healthy, get them into a good rhythm with each other, and understand that we have a couple of superstars coming back to our roster.
Great segue for trades. Van Vliet to Detroit. I've been seeing that. We'll do our Lakers first. I've been seeing Bogdanovich for Kyle Kuzma. Laker fan, Coach G, how do you feel about that? I see where they're going with it. I don't mind the trade. They need scorers. They want to score for
But
him.
I'd much rather have somebody else that can orchestrate the offense outside of Rondo.
True. Well, I mean, you got LeBron.
You got LeBron, yes. You got Rondo,
Caruso.
but we're not deep like we need to be in that position. That's one of the positions that
We're
I
a very
feel like
positionless team.
that's one that I feel like we need
And it's
more
crazy
of an
because
identity
y'all
in
really
that
looking
role.
at like it's almost looking like y'all gonna be the ones to win the championship. But it's
But
like y'all
there's
missing
holes in
so
the
many
game.
pieces.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
holes in the game.
The Lakers are missing so many pieces right now.
Staying on the Lakers, Anthony Davis. Well, they're looking at giving Anthony Davis a 3-year contract with the player option so he can be a free agent in 2020 with LeBron James. He had turned down the 3-year extension, or 4-year extension, sorry, $146 million. And the rumor was he was going to wait till free agency, signed the 5-year, $202 million. But now it came out that they're going to just give him a 3-year. I don't know how much the money is on it, but it's probably some pretty good money. Player option,
how much the money is.
so he can stay or he can go. It doesn't matter to him.
What you
Well,
think
it's up
about
to
that?
him. I think it's good. I think it keeps your options open.
I
If they
think
win
So
the
if-
championship,
If he gets mad and just wants to leave, it won't just hurt the team just so terribly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can waive his option. Okay, you can go do what you want. You're a free agent. We can just sign somebody else. Your contract's off of us. So I think it was a smart move.
do you think if it's
and I think I think that's good for the Lakers to offer him that offer.
Because it doesn't tie him into a 5-year contract.
And on top of that, so and there's all this talk about it seemed like he want to go play in Chicago, blah blah blah. It give you that opportunity to.
That's what I'm
If you
saying.
don't
If
like
he
everything
wins the
here, you can
championship
go
this
ahead and
first
go.
year, do you think he's out, or do you think he comes back for a second run?
Oh yeah, I think he's the type of player he's gonna win a second run.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
'Cause
If
he
he
didn't
does
just leave
not
from New
win
Orleans
the
right away.
championship, but he gets close.
Oh yeah, I
Does he
think
stay?
I think he's staying. I think he's here.
I think it's one of those things like he wanna give it a good run until it like kind of how the Warriors had a good run, and you have like
Until you're just like I'm
you
bored.
got like Iguodala
basically.
that just stay with him all the way until like okay now it's nothing and I'm gone, boom. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Okay.
Other trade rumors: Van Vliet. Well, this is what we had said: Van Vliet to Detroit, and Drummond to where? Where did y'all say they were looking? Or they're just looking at trading him, right?
Cleveland. Cleveland's somebody that's had their eye on Drummond.
Ooh,
Cleveland need they out everything.
Kevin Love for Drummond.
I don't
I
know.
wouldn't trade.
I don't know if that's who is on the board for that. But
If you're Cleveland, you know
Right
Kevin Love
moves.
doesn't want to be there, and you can bring in somebody who's going to give you 20 and 20 every night, 15 and 15 plus every night. I think that wouldn't be a bad trade. I think there's going to be a little bit more stuff tied into that because, Cleveland said they wanted younger people, in picks. So there's going to be some stuff going into that. But last but not least, but last on basketball before we jump into football, is LeBron James scared of Kawhi Leonard?
Huh?
I think the obvious question is no. I think we're past the era of the best player guarding the best player, because 9 times out of 10 the best player is not a great defensive player. Mm-hmm. It's not like that anymore. Like you had Patrick Beverley guarding Kevin Durant. Okay, Patrick Beverley's not the best player on the Clippers by any means. And he wasn't last year when he was guarding Kevin Durant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just one of the best defensive players.
Exactly. So I can't I get Kawhi's point, okay? My thing is we're just not in that time anymore. It's so positionless and it's so role oriented kind of. If that makes any sense. That's kind of a paradox in a sense, but
let me cut in on this because
so what you gonna say?
I don't want to be too long winded on this. However, I follow Gil Hibachi. Okay, no chill Gil.
Gilbert Arenas.
Okay, so
however many time All-Star scoring champ.
He directly addressed Stephen A. Told him that's a lie. Pointed out stats.
To what did Stephen A. say? What is he replying to? So people who haven't heard can.
Stephen A. is the one who's saying that he's been told by sources close to him that are credible sources that Kawhi is saying that LeBron is scared to guard him. Why is LeBron scared to guard me? Okay. Well, Gil has pointed out some things that I think are important to understand. Because if you're a surface looker, then you would say, yeah, they've beaten y'all twice. He's had this amount of points on your team and so on, such and such and such. Okay. However, the fact is, yes, they've lost a couple of times. But when the Lakers have to sub out their bigs, LeBron has to play a different position. That's when Kawhi is able to go off. It's on the second string. It is not on the first string. Kawhi has like 5 to 7 points against the first string. Both in good wins.
The first string is a very intimidating because of the length. Kobe talked about this on All the Smoke, how the Lakers are so big. They're almost like an old school big because they just have a bunch of big people. Like Dwight Howard doesn't look like one of these new generation people or new generation players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
New generation players are real wispy. They're skinny.
Like thick.
Dwight Howard's got muscles on top of him. He looks like Scott Steiner playing center.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
And then the Lakers have a few people like that. And then they also have some newer generation cats who are long and skinny and just take up space. Like a Kuzma. No, we're getting rid of him, but he's here for the long haul. JaVale McGee's long, taking up a bunch of space.
See, and my point to that exactly. He says when the Clippers go with Kawhi, OG, Lou, and Trez, the Lakers have to go small. And that puts LeBron guarding a different position.
Exactly.
And that's exactly when Kawhi is able to go off and take a little bit more advantage and play a little bit more bully ball and be more aggressive.
Kawhi has to
only
understand.
Has 7 points against the starting 5.
Kawhi has to understand that he doesn't mean as much to his team as LeBron does.
Exactly.
Like, LeBron does so much for the team. And he does so much, and you think Kawhi does a lot until you look at what LeBron does. You know what I mean? Like, Kawhi doesn't have the vision LeBron does, by any means. I really don't think Kawhi can run the floor the way LeBron does. Kawhi doesn't have that point guard in him. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He's not a floor general.
First of all, he's so quiet. I don't even see him coming out court just yelling, box.
Exactly. He's not.
Cut over.
He's quietly loud. I mean, what he says, you listen. It doesn't say much, but he goes out there. He's a 2-time champion. I mean, you got to understand what he says is got to be good.
Just because you have the Mamba mentality doesn't mean everybody does. Sorry, Kawhi. Get back to what you were saying about.
He also
Gil?
pointed out that the Clippers have starters coming off their bench, and they have bench players starting.
Oh yeah, so they can have more bench points.
If you look at it in the whole scheme of things, if you start your real starters, you have no points coming off your bench.
Yeah. I think that's just a coaching move, but it's a valid point.
That's Clippers have bigger problems than what people think.
Looking on
the surface of who they have and not understanding that that's all they have.
It is. We're jumping into football now, ladies and gentlemen. There's some coaching changes, and there's a few. We talked about Mike McCarthy. He's officially in Dallas. They had the media press conference today.
It's official.
And he said he's there. He said
I'm pretty happy about this.
He was born to coach the Cowboys. That's what he said.
Uh-oh.
Yep, so...
I'm pretty happy about this.
Now everybody's saying... Oh, sorry to cut you off. Continue.
No, I'm pretty happy about this because I feel like he's an okay coach, but I feel like the Cowboys are already broken. It's going to take a long time for him to come in and try to fix it, and I don't like the Cowboys, so while they going through their rebuilding process and losing, I will be cheering from the sideline.
Mike McCarthy promises that Ezekiel Elliott will be getting the ball. And I think... Well, this is all I've been hearing, and it's valid. It's valid to hear, ladies and gentlemen. Jerry Jones needs to let this man coach now.
Needs to. Absolutely.
And Jason Garrett gave Mike McCarthy the nod. He gave him the reference, kind of. Okay, well, if I'm going to lose my job, this is who I'd want to lose it to. He's credible. He's won a championship. This, that, and there. You know what I mean? So I like that part on Jason Garrett. He didn't go out like a sore loser, go out like a little crybaby or anything. I'm sure he's probably still going to be kept around in the Dallas Cowboy family.
Well, to be honest with you, he did so much for the Cowboys and he stuck with them for so long that I know they took well good care of him for sure. And he's not leaving broke at all.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And so another coaching change over in New York, the Giants. Joe Judge is the new coach. Young. Well, I say young. He's 38 years old. Young coach. He really is. Was under Nick Saban, was under Bill Belichick, so he has some good.
He has some good teachers in front of him.
He was out of coaching for a little bit, and that's what people kind of said. Like, how are you gonna explain this kind of absence from coaching, and now you're coming back to coach?
Stephen A was actually kind of upset about it because he was saying that he felt like it was kind of like racist because there's a lot of other black people that's qualified for the job and all.
I'm sure.
Things and,
I'm sure.
You know,
and I'm sure they're not gonna. I mean, well, you can't really. I would say they wouldn't let a black coach the Giants, but they have.
Honestly, I think it's a good move for the Giants. Like, I feel like you can't tell nobody who to have as a manager at their organization or who to run their organization or anything like that.
That's what makes it your organization.
Exactly. So if they decide that that's who they want, then that's who they want. And honestly, I think it'll be good for them because they need somebody to come in and clean up that organization.
Wait, no, Tony Dungy didn't coach the Giants. I'm completely wrong.
You just thinking Dungy.
I thought Dungy coached the Giants.
Coach.
Anyways, Joe Judge. I didn't look at it from that perspective, but I also didn't watch Stephen A talking about it and everything. So, but now that you bring it up, it is something to be talked about. You know what I mean? That could be.
But even if
that could really be the case.
Even if it's not like a whole racist thing, like. You know what I mean? Like you say, he took a break. And
exactly.
He's
so there's still qualified coaches over him.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, but he has had experience with Bill and Nick. He said he's young. He knows he's young. And he knows he's been out of the game for a little bit. So he's going to rely on the people around him and the assistants and the coordinators who have been there for a little while. And they're going to make a push and everything. Over in Carolina, Matt Rule is the new coach.
I think that's a good pickup.
From Baylor, former Baylor coach. He was the front runner, or he was one of the front runners for the Giants job, and they passed on him. So, glad to see what they're doing over there. Maybe they can put something together. They got a great talent at quarterback. It just seems he can't really do nothing. Other football news. This was big to me. Clutch Sports is now in football. Clutch Sports Agency.
Oh,
Is that Rich Paul, right? Rich Paul's sports agency is now in football with some big signee names: Jarvis Landry, Alvin Kamara, and he just announced himself into the draft, Chase Young. So,
dang,
Wow.
that's crazy.
yeah, that's
big move.
Yep.
Big ups to what Rich got
Rich
going
Paul,
on.
LeBron.
Man, I'm with him.
All that.
I'm with what he doing. But at the same time, if I had a child, my child probably wouldn't be going that route. I would advise my child to finish school first.
Oh no! It's for when they come out of.
Okay, perfect. 'Cause
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
he got this thing where he try to, like he.
Yeah, I think that's
you know.
for basketball. Because football, you have to play 3 years before you can enter the draft.
Gotcha.
Speaking of entering the draft, before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, Jake Fromm, entered the draft. He announced it. And then Tuya is also entering the draft. There's some other people out there. Chase Young entered the draft from Ohio State. CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma. So, I'm excited to see what Tuya's going to do.
It's gonna be a decent draft.
I'm glad
I feel like
glad
it's
he
gonna
took
be a
it.
decent draft. There's some exciting players that
Yeah.
are gonna be able to be shot this year.
Yep.
Let's see what happens.
There's some good quarterbacks on the board.
Some really good
There's
quarterbacks. And
teams
some really
that
good
need a
defensive
really
players.
Good quarterback.
And then there's some good people who could have stayed. Trae Smith, I want to say his name is Trae Smith from Tennessee, the lineman, offensive lineman. He's staying another year. He quoted Peyton Manning when he announced that he was staying. So he's a volunteer through and through. If you're quoting P. Manning,
Facts.
yeah. So I'm excited to see it. I really am, and I'm excited to see this Clutch Sports stuff. Those are just some of the first names that are coming out, so I'm sure they're going to sign a bunch of people.
See well more about. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to go look that up because I'm actually really excited about that one.
Yeah, and there's some more people already on their roster. I just named the big names that were kind of relevant in the news.
All right.
But yeah, that's our time, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting out of here. You can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on www.sportstalkchannel.com. Sorry for that. At 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. in Texas, I think it's 8 p.m. in Cali. Wherever you're at, figure it out. 10 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also tune into our podcast. So you're just going to podcast in front of my son every Monday and Thursday. So this has been another edition, another hour of The Assist with your host, Noah Harrington, Jay, and Coach G. And we're signing out.
Peace.